a generation came to know as Princess Leia, Carrie Fisher, has died at the age of 60. Fisher had been in the hospital after suffering a heart attack while flying from London to L.A. last Friday. NBC's Kurt Gregory has a look at the legacy she leaves behind.
Carrie Fisher was born in 1956 into entertainment royalty, the daughter of pop singer Eddie Fisher and actress Debbie Reynolds. At the age of 15, appearing as a singer in Broadway's Irene, alongside her mother. Her film debut was in 1975 in the comedy Shampoo.
I don't know what you're talking about.
But just 2 years later, Fisher blasted off to stardom in Star Wars.
I love you.
She would return as Princess Leia Organa in Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, sharing her time on movie sets and on Broadway. But behind the curtain, Fisher battled years of drug dependency and scandal. In 1983, she married singer Paul Simon, but the marriage ended just 8 months later. Fisher turned to writing, publishing her first novel in 1987, Postcards from the Edge. In all, writing 7 books, working on dozens of plays for screen and stage, in between roles on the big and small screen. She wrote and starred in Wishful Drinking on Broadway.
I am a Pez dispenser, and I'm in the abnormal psychology textbook. Who says you can't have it all?
The one-woman show examined her life as a child in Hollywood, growing up in the glare of the spotlight, battling addiction and her fight against bipolar disorder. The book adaptation would go on to become a New York Times bestseller. In the past 2 years, Fisher came back to the story that made her famous, reprising her role of Princess Leia in both Star Wars 7: The Force Awakens and Episode 8, set for release in 2017, finding a new generation of fans. Kurt Gregory, NBC News.
And today, her Star Wars co-star and megastar Harrison Ford said that Carrie was one of a kind, brilliant, and original. New details are emerging now about the sudden death of pop star George Michael. His longtime boyfriend, Fadi Fawaz, said that he found the singer dead in his bed when he stopped to pick him up for a lunch on Christmas Day. Fawaz also tweeted out saying, "I will never stop missing you." Neighbors say George Michael was rarely seen outside his home in recent months.
He became very, very reclusive, so he wasn't seen around that much. He didn't do very much, but an amazing career. I mean, I think that, whatever personal demons he had, he had to deal with, but, let's hope his career is his lasting legacy.
His boyfriend telling the Daily Telegraph things had been complicated recently, but that George Michael was looking forward to Christmas. Florence, Kentucky police need your help to find the man who robbed a bank just 2 days before Christmas. So here's a surveillance photo from the robbery at the Heritage Bank on US 42 there in Florence. Happened Friday afternoon. Police say he passed the note to the teller saying he had a gun and hand over the money, but he never spoke during that robbery. If you have any information that could help police, call Crime Stoppers at 513-352-3040. In North College Hill, a man wanted in connection to holdups at 2 United Dairy Farmers locations. Police say this man robbed the UDF on Hamilton Avenue, North College Hill, early Friday morning. Investigators say just hours earlier, the same man tried to rob the UDF at Vine and Seymour. But in that one, he didn't get away with anything. If you have any information about who this could be, give police a call. Police are looking for the driver who ran a red light, causing a crash downtown. Crash happened overnight at the intersection of Race and 7th Street. The driver of the minivan left the scene before police got there. The driver of the other car was not hurt. A new effort tonight to save the Denison Hotel from demolition. Cincinnati City Councilman Chris Seelbach filed an application to the city's planning department to have the hotel designated as a local historic landmark and stop demolition plans. Earlier this month, the city's zoning board approved demolition of the building that dates back more than 100 years. In a statement, Seelbach said, quote, "Preserving these viable structures is better for the environment, reduces housing costs, and helps the city maintain its historic identity." A northern Kentucky church goes up in flames.
Your heart kind of drops, you feel bad, and especially with it being a church, right after Christmas.
Tonight, why this loss is so personal for the people in that community and where church members go from here. Plus, foundations crumbling right before their eyes, sinkholes consuming homes in this town in Michigan. The evacuations, large-scale ones too, underway, and what caused the sinkholes in the first place.
And I have a quiet, mild Wednesday on the way to the tri-state, but Thursday it will be breezy, much colder, maybe even some snow flurries then. And I've got your New Year's Eve and day forecast all coming up next on WLWT News 5.
You're watching WLWT News 5, leading the way.
A fire destroys a northern Kentucky church overnight. It happened at the Chapel of Praise on Highway 159 in Pendleton County. WLWT News 5's Natalie Clark has reaction from the church and what investigators are saying tonight.
It is the people. It's not the building. The building is where all the people meet.
Neighbors who live near the Chapel of Praise on Highway 159 in Falmouth say their faith will help them rebuild after a fire ripped through the church.
As I was leaving the house, one of my first guys on the scene, he was coming down over the hill there and said it was fully engulfed. Your heart kind of drops, you feel bad, and especially with it being a church, right after Christmas.
For nearly 4 hours, 20 volunteer firefighters from Falmouth and Northern Pendleton fire departments battled the fire, shuttling in water from a mile away.
It takes extra manpower to do those kind of things. And with the manpower driving trucks back and forth, shuttling water, you don't have the manpower on the scene to help with. So, it makes it a little bit harder on the people on the scenes.
The fire destroyed half of the building, where the church offices and Sunday school classes are held. The pastor here tells me they plan on rebuilding what was damaged in the fire, but they still plan on having church come Sunday. And neighbors are not surprised at their will to keep going. Jerry Bolser says when times get tough, it's faith that carries them through in Pendleton County.
I'm sure they'll fix it, and that's all that matters. It's the church, and God's got a reason.
Investigators are working to find a cause. In the meantime, the American Red Cross is assisting. In Falmouth, Natalie Clark, WLWT News 5.
No one was inside at the time when that fire started. Church leaders are examining the damage right now to figure out where to go next. Ohio's Supreme Court settles a 5-year dispute over laws aimed at banning synthetic marijuana and bath salt. The Supreme Court ruled that a 2011 law passed by Ohio's General Assembly went into effect that same year, making synthetic drugs illegal. Since that time, there have been conflicting appeals, court rulings about when the law actually could be enforced, including one case out of Middletown where a gas station owner was convicted of selling bath salts back in 2012. We have an update for you on the plans for the Wasson Way project on the east side of town. Project leaders have announced construction will begin June 1st on phase 1 of the trail. This is going to cover the section of that trail that stretches from Tamarack Avenue to Madison Road. The entire trail project covers more than 7 miles, connecting 12 neighborhoods to the Little Miami Bike Trail. New developments tonight on the crash of a Russian military plane that killed 92 people. Today, crews found the flight recorder from that plane that crashed into the Black Sea 2 minutes after takeoff. The black box was found about a mile from shore. Right now, investigators are taking a look at fuel samples from the plane to see maybe if the crash could have been caused by bad fuel. Other theories being investigated are pilot error and equipment failure. A huge sinkhole threatening almost 24 homes in Michigan. City of Fraser is now under a state of emergency after 22 families left their places while engineers work to find a way to prevent more damage. Officials believe that a large sewer pipe buried 45 feet below ground might have burst, causing the sinkhole to form. Neighbors fear that the worst may not be over yet.
We seen the bricks fall from the side of the house. We saw it separating at the front of the house. If it swallowed his house, it might take ours with it.
All right, this is not the first deep problem for that area. The same road caved in 12 years ago in 2004, but this latest sinkhole is even larger, 250 feet long and 100 feet wide, so almost the length of a football field.
That is big.
It is big. Meteorologist Steve Norris now. Last week, Kevin and I were talking about weather whiplash because we had, I think, a 50-degree swing.
Yeah.
Not quite that,
no,
but pretty significant.
Yeah, 25, 30-degree temperature swing today. We had, low 70s yesterday afternoon, record-setting.
Not anymore.
No, not anymore. Temperatures right now in the low 40s. Take a look right now at the radar, and the radar looked very different too, Mike. Yesterday we had showers, even a couple of embedded thunderstorms throughout the late afternoon and into the late evening hours, but but yeah, the radar looks pretty good right now. Live WLWT Doppler radar, and we'll just widen it out. The only thing showing up on the radar right now, we have some very cold wind out of the west and northwest blowing over Lake Michigan. So the northern parts of Michigan, some lake effect snow there, but other than that, it is very, very quiet over the eastern half of the country. And well, temperature wise, yeah, a big swing from yesterday. We had a high temperature of 52 degrees. That was at midnight last night. Our daytime high has been about 43 degrees. We did drop down to 32 this morning. Those numbers are above the averages of 39 and 24, and that 70-degree record high today, that certainly was not threatened. And a pretty sunset out there across the area and over the Queen City, looking very good. You can see the sun reflecting on the Great American Tower there at Queen City Square. 41 degrees at the International Airport. The wind chill right now, 35. Yep, wind out of the west right now at 9 miles per hour, and the barometric pressure is falling. Most areas in the lower 40s right now. We have seen a couple of spots drop into the upper 30s. Hillsboro right now at 39 degrees, also 39 at Brookville there in parts of Franklin County and Batesville, northern Ripley County. Good evening to you folks. You are at 39 degrees, and we'll see those temperatures drop off fairly quickly through the 30s during the evening hours. We are looking at a quiet but mild Wednesday, and then some big changes. So I've got temperatures tomorrow up around the 50-degree mark and a lot of sunshine for your Wednesday. A cold front, though, will move through as we head into Wednesday evening and overnight into early Thursday, and it will bring at least some scattered light rain showers, not a huge deal. And then on Thursday, it will be breezy and much colder with probably some snow flurries. So yeah, big changes on the way. An area of high pressure off to our southwest right now that will slide just to our south as we head into early tomorrow morning. Notice severe clear skies overnight, lots of sunshine tomorrow, but as we head into late tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, the clouds will begin to build back in, and here comes another cold front, and this one will live up to its name. Definitely colder air behind that. 10 o'clock tomorrow evening, we'll see some light rain showers scattered about the area. They'll quickly move out, and then the cold air will begin to arrive on Thursday, and guess what? Here we are at 7 o'clock Thursday morning. Still quite a bit of cloud cover, but as we head into Thursday afternoon, yeah, you see that light blue showing up on the screen that indicates perhaps a couple of snow flurries over the area. So enjoy tomorrow, 50 degrees for the high and that sunshine. Tonight, skies will be clear. Will be a bit colder than this morning. We dropped down to 32 degrees, but tomorrow morning we'll dip into the upper 20s, so definitely a chilly start to the day. But there's that 50-degree high for Wednesday afternoon under mostly sunny skies, so mild and pleasant then. And well, here come the changes. Starting on Thursday, we'll top out only at 39 degrees. Very breezy conditions Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening into the late night hours with those snow flurries around. Could see a couple of lingering flurries on Friday morning. Look at Friday's high, just 34 degrees. Otherwise, we'll warm back up as we head into the holiday weekend. New Year's Eve Saturday, could see some showers in the afternoon. Off and on showers on the first day of the new year, 2017, there on Sunday, and rain is likely as we start the first week of the new year. Mike?
All right, Steve. Tonight, the Cincinnati Cyclones, the hockey team, will have a special ceremony marking Hanukkah. The Chabad Jewish Center is teaming up with the Cyclones for a Jewish Heritage Night. Before tonight's game, there will be a special menorah lighting on the ice rink. The special ceremony starts at 7. That's a half an hour before the puck is dropped. Well, still plenty of time to make a difference. The Ruth Lyons Fund helps so many children in the hospital this time of year, and so far, you've helped us raise more than $152,000 for the fund. Still time to get involved and donate. If you'd like to, please go to our website, WLWT.com. Panicked shoppers running to the exits after a series of incidents at malls all around America. From fights to firecrackers, who was behind it and what started the whole thing? Plus, teenagers and pot, the impact that legalizing marijuana is having on teenagers in certain states, and if changes to state laws are increasing the number of teens trying the drug. Taking a closer look now at teen use of marijuana in states that have legalized the drug in recent years. A new study by UC Davis showing mixed results. In Washington state, marijuana use among middle and high school students increasing 2 to 4% after it became legal. In Colorado, where marijuana was legalized 4 years ago, there was no change in how often it was used by teenagers. During that same time, teenagers using marijuana in states where it's still illegal dropped 1%. Fights break out in more than a dozen malls nationwide yesterday, including malls in Kentucky and Indiana. Check out the new video from a mall in Chattanooga, Tennessee here. Shoppers started running to the exits after they heard what they thought was gunfire. Turned out it was firecrackers set off by a group of teenagers. And the whole thing was meant to be a distraction while they shoplifted there from the mall. No word if the incidents nationwide were coordinated by teenagers online. Post-holiday sales, they are soaring. But how do you know what's a good deal now and what's a better deal in the new year? Well, right now is the time, apparently, to find bargains on clothing as retailers try to clear out space for spring. It is the best time to buy winter gear like gloves and coats. Also, the time to find the best discounts on new cars. What not to buy right now? Televisions and other electronics. The best prices on those are said to be in January. Some tips from the experts to get the best deals if you are shopping this week. Check your emails. I know you delete those a lot of times, but check your email for additional coupons at your favorite stores. And when you do go to the store, get there early when the newest merchandise arrives. And at the cash register, ask if there's any additional discounts that you may not know about, because sometimes they're helpful, and if it's going to get the sale, they're going to take it. Electronics like smartphones and fitness trackers like Fitbit are always popular Christmas gifts, and tonight, new numbers on just how many apps were downloaded on those new devices over the weekend. The Fitbit app was the top free app downloaded on Apple's iOS store on Sunday. Amazon's Echo was also popular at number 4. The other top spots were filled by Snapchat, Super Mario Run, and YouTube. Well, a police officer's prized possession stolen from his car.
Thank you letters, one from Sonny Kim's funeral. It's just huge. You know, it cannot be replaced.
What he kept his bagpipe case in, and how other officers are trying to pool their resources to replace the pipes. Plus,
I just lost my son Jaden October the 10th, and I was trying to get his urn.
2 tragedies just before the holidays. Why one mother says a fire did not ruin her Christmas. We'll tell you more about it when we come back on Cincinnati's WLWT News 5.
You're watching WLWT News 5, leading the way.
Missing and very much missed tonight. A stolen piece of police honor and symbolism. That's the result of a Mount Adams car break-in. Today, a bagpiper who is a beloved figure at police funerals had to scramble for replacement parts. WLWT News 5's John London live at the Police Memorial in the West End. John?
Yeah, Mike, Officer Stephen Watt found a substitute in time today for the burial ceremony of a friend and colleague. But what was taken from his trunk last night was as personal as what he puts into his playing. The notes piped into the cold air of this December afternoon with precision and poignancy as they have for a quarter century. Only this time, for the first time since Steve Watt started doing this, on borrowed bagpipes.
We took the front window out first, and I had my garment bag here.
After playing at a funeral Monday night, the Marymount officer took his family to Playhouse in the Park, emerging to find his trunk cleaned out. Bagpipes, honor guard uniform, carrying bags, all gone. What Watt does is a labor of love, his Scott ancestry reflecting passion for the moving power of the pipes. Irreplaceable mementos were lost last night.
People give me pins and all this kind of stuff, and I place them inside the bagpipe case. It's like a foam case inside, kind of push them in there and stuff like that, and they're kind of laying around. And thank you letters, one from Sonny Kim's funeral. It's just huge. You know, it cannot be replaced. It's priceless.
Ahead of today's graveside service for 84-year-old Harry Bodie, who as chief deputy was instrumental in starting the bagpipe unit, Watt borrowed this instrument to continue a tradition that has touched countless lives. Mike Robison, recalling his grandfather's funeral.
It was right out of a movie. There was fog, there was dew on the ground, and he's marching away into the fog, playing Amazing Grace. There really wasn't a dry eye.
His notes float with inspired tone and honor as he stepped past the family of a now deceased friend, recalling the big hugs that accompanied every visit. Theft could not silence the grace of honoring another good life. Officer Watts says if whoever stole his bagpipes and his honor uniform and medallion is watching this right now, his message to them is to return, notify, drop them off somewhere, notify police where they are. He says unless you're a bagpiper, they won't mean anything to you, but they mean the world to him. Reporting live, John London, WLWT News 5.
John, thank you. Posting on Facebook, Dan Hills of the Cincinnati Fraternal Order of Police has heard from many within law enforcement family about raising funds now to replace those stolen bagpipes if they are not returned or found. Police near Dayton are investigating after they found a missing woman dead in a parking lot. Kettering police say 29-year-old Lynn Davis was found yesterday in a business parking lot near where she was last seen on Saturday. The coroner now working to figure out exactly how she died. A Middletown man accused of killing his wife in a fit of rage facing a murder charge. Prosecutors say Greg Orono killed Cassie Sanders. WLWT News 5's Tammy Matassa was in court as detectives laid out the case against Orono.
The visitation for Cassie Sanders is this evening, the same day her husband, accused in her murder, found out. The case will be bound over to a grand jury. Family members told investigators Greg Orono was a ticking time bomb, ready to lash out against his wife Cassie Sanders in their rocky marriage.
Several people said that there was threats the night before, and I interviewed him and questioned him about that. And he said that he jokingly told her he was going to kill her.
On December 17, detectives say Orono shot his wife. The shotgun blast hit her in the chest in their Middletown living room. Police say the victim's 17-year-old daughter and 5 people were in the house.
Shocked, they looked scared.
Investigators say the school teacher had endured abuse from Orono for years. They say Sanders was shot during an argument when she told her husband she had enough.
His wife had lived about 5 years of domestic abuse. She was getting to the point where she was getting ready to leave him. And she expressed this the night before.
Orono shook his head in court when detectives said his story was inconsistent the night of the shooting.
He spoke with the initial responding patrol officers and gave each one of them different stories.
The victim's family was in court wearing T-shirts reading what they'd hoped for: justice. The defense argued the shotgun accidentally went off during the argument between Orono and his wife. They say he was in deep shock after the shooting. Reporting from Middletown, Tammy Matassa, WLWT News 5.